I just realized there were so many things that had been going on and were going on that I knew nothing about, but they were influencing and affecting me greatly and the world that my children and my grandchildren will grow up in. And that concerned me. And as the movie talked about, after I wrote that letter to the editor, I think the biggest eye-opener I had was when that gentleman wrote the letter stating that what I said was true but nothing new. It was all printed in a book in 1958. That book, The Naked Communist by Cleon Skouser, when I got a copy of that, and I turned to the section that has the 45 current communist goals from 1958, and I started to read through those, I don't think I've had that kind of moment in my life before, where you're stunned, you're like, could this really be true? Is this even possible? And so a lot of things went through my mind at that point. It might be some of the things are going through your mind. First, I was mad because I was mad at the people that did that. Why in the world, these evil people, why can't they just go wreck their own country? Or why did they have to come wreck our country? And then it made me mad for a little bit. I thought, how often in life does your enemy give you their plan? I mean, in 1958, when that book came out, it was a bestseller. It sold millions of copies. Why didn't all the people that read that go, this is what they want to do? We've got to do something about this. But very few did. I think a handful that did are the ones that I interviewed. Those are the people that have been in this fight ever since then. Just going through a few of these with you again, to add a little more depth to them. When I started to look through these, like goal number 17, just think about this for a minute. This is 1958 America. Get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism, soften the curriculum, get control of teachers' associations. They've done all that. I mean, completely. There's not any part of it they haven't done a decade ago or more. I mean, do you realize, I think it's amazing how far they've gone and how far they continue to go while we sit here just assuming, oh, it can't be that bad. It's like we don't want to face the facts. Do you know just last school year, the National Education Association, the NEA, which is the most powerful organization in America over our public schools, they have more teachers, they have more charge of the curriculum than any other organization. They, in their committees, passed a resolution that on October 1st of each year, they wanted throughout all of our public schools to celebrate Chairman Mao's successful revolution in China. And it passed. That's how radical the people we are dealing with are. And those of you that aren't familiar, maybe a little younger, just heard the name Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao is estimated to have slaughtered between 50 and 60 million of his own people. 5 times what Hitler did. And that we're going to have a day to celebrate his successful revolution in China. That's where these people are coming from. That doesn't seem radical to them. You probably noticed over the last couple of years when Obama was appointing his czars, 2 of them said what? When asked, who do you admire most as a leader? Who's your role models, or people that have influenced you the most? 2 of them said Chairman Mao, the communist dictator of China. But I guess we're too busy watching our favorite TV show to worry about what's being taught to our children and grandchildren. Do you know a recent survey? 36% of seniors in our high schools, seniors, so they didn't drop out, it's not kind of all the dropouts that dropped out before that, which is a huge percentage. This is people who make it to their senior year. 36% of them, when asked where does government get its money from, did not know. What a pathetic education. What a pathetic job we've done as parents and grandparents. Our children don't even know where the government gets the money it's spending. No wonder they want to have all these programs and stuff. If they think it's just free money, like they do. Yeah, they do, but it comes out of our eye because our money drops in value. But they didn't even realize it was taxes. They didn't understand that it's our taxes that pay for these programs. and our debt that pays for the rest of them. That's our debt. Okay, these guys in office, they'll get out of there, whatever. It's our debt we have to carry forever. Goal number 24. Think of America of 1958 if you were alive then, and those of you that weren't, just for you to know from the TV and movies from that era. Eliminate all laws governing obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of free speech and free press. It's exactly what they've done. I mean, it's sobering because you go, man, they pulled that off. In 1958, no one was talking like that. And if you did, it wouldn't have been in public in front of a lady or a child, ever. And if you accidentally slip something out, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, please forgive me for saying that. Because you just understood that was not acceptable. But today, it seems like the women have the worst mouths of all. They've totally just transformed the culture through Hollywood, through the media, to make that not only not a bad thing anymore, it's a good thing. It's a cool thing. Goal 25, break down cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography and obscenity in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, and TV. Our entire culture is pornographic. I can't take my boys to the store to get groceries because of all the magazines there. The cover of magazines today, just the cover right there of the women's magazines, and if you read the captions especially, would have been X-rated material in 1958. And now it's right there at our little 5-year-old's level where they can go look at the lady and see what she has. 40% of pastors in America say internet pornography is a constant struggle. That's how saturated it is in our society. Goal 26. Present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, and healthy. It's right where we are. If you are not actively endorsing and pushing the homosexual agenda, you are their enemy and will be destroyed. If they cried for tolerance, oh, just leave us alone, let us do our own thing. They've gone so far past that. Most of us said, do whatever you want, but we don't want to hear about it. You go do it in the privacy of your home, and we don't want you telling our children about it. That was our request. But of course now it's going to the level of everything is pushing it, endorsing it. Right now, many schools throughout America in 5-year-old kindergarten are learning about the homosexual lifestyle. 5-year-old kindergarten. They're perverting the innocence and purity of a young child into convincing them that the love they have for their little boyfriend when they're a little boy, that's homosexuality. But that's a pure love. Because of course when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, who do you love most? Your little boyfriends. That's who you play with, you have fun with. And it's a pure, innocent, wonderful love. But they pervert that and twist it into making, oh, you're homosexual then. And they twist that innocence into, you can watch YouTube videos hidden in classrooms. They go, shouldn't you be able to marry your best friend? And they're like, oh yeah. They don't even understand what marriage is, but they're just teaching them this stuff by manipulating their innocent minds. And we allow them to do that in our schools. We're going to reap what we sow. I promise you that. Goal 27. This one, I think, has had the greatest impact on our country. Infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with social religion and discredit the Bible. I think if there's any one single reason what has happened to our country has happened, it's because the churches have fallen apart. That's it. The people my film talks about, the names, the groups, the charts, and all that stuff, they're relatively meaningless. Evil men have always been around trying to work their wickedness. But in America, unlike other countries, the pastors had always stood up and said, you will not do that in our community. And it would be the pastors from every single denomination standing together, shoulder to shoulder, and said, you will not have that book in our schools, period. We will go to war over this. Do you understand? And then, so what had happened to the evil? It cowered back in the shadows. It crawled back into the closets. It hid. Because there was men of courage standing up there saying, you will not do that. And guess who was standing right behind those pastors? The entire congregation. saying, you will not do this. We will not allow you to destroy the innocence and purity of our children, period. But over the years, starting in the 30s, as they started to work their way into our seminaries and discredit the Bible, do you know today, it's over 80% of all evangelical seminaries in America, over 80% of them do not believe the Bible is the inerrant Word of God. That's who's training our pastors to lead our churches. So you wonder why they're offering all these sidekick things. I mean, if the Bible's full of errors anyway, well, why preach it dogmatically? Might as well move on to the next thing. Have some fun stuff or whatever. But that's what's happened. That took them 70 years to do that. And they made huge grounds in the 60s, huge leaps forward in the 60s. But that's what happens. I mean, even, and this is not popular, but it's the facts. I'm studying to make the sequel to Agenda, which is going to cover what's happening in the environmental movement and the evangelical movement to finish us off. And as I'm digging in, I'm not liking what I find. That Rick Warren, he's tied right in the middle of this thing. It's sad, but he is right dead smack in the middle of it. He himself worked with Students for a Democratic Society when he was in college. He's coming from a radical point of view. His mentor is Peter Drucker, who's a business guru, he's not a Christian, doesn't claim to be a Christian. And he taught him over 20 years, he was mentored by him, how to turn the church into a business. It's not sheep, it's customers. And you create a society where you fulfill everything for them. You're their social life, you're their religious life, you're their activity, you're everything. And you have total control over them because of that. Because you have a community organization model where you just have so much influence because you're their source of everything. Rick Warren sits on the board of Tony Blair's organization. How many of you know who Tony Blair is? He's the Prime Minister of the UK, used to be the Prime Minister of the UK, who is a current member of the Fabian Socialist Society. And he sits on his board, and the board has the stated purpose of working toward a new world order. And Rick Warren's on the board of that. What you're going to see happening, and as I'm digging in, I'm finding more and more, but he's going to start turning more and more toward just his primary focus and the 35,000 churches that download his notes every week, and they jump when he says jump and ask how high. There's 35,000 churches that follow Rick Warren. He's starting to turn more toward the just social justice and saving the environment. And that's going to be the focus of the churches, to work on a one world socialist, of course, because they say Jesus was a socialist and all that, which is nonsense. But you're going to see, but that's going to play a pivotal role. But again, in the 30s, they knew who was their number one enemy. The Christian church in America. They knew that. They said, these people stand up because they have a book they believe. They will not let us do what we want to do. So if we can't beat them, we got to join them. We got to get in there and push to the left. We got to push, get on the boards, get in the church, push, and get into seminaries primarily. They knew if they can get control of the seminaries, they can change the pastors, and that will change the churches. And they have definitely done that.